Are we ready? I guess not.
For years, Ja Rule kept his mouth shut, staying low while 50 Cent's name echoed through the hip-hop scene like a ghost from the past. Their beef once shook the entire rap game, leaving scars that never truly healed. But now that long silence has been shattered, Ja Rule is finally speaking out. And this time, he's not pulling any punches. His words cut deep. The anger's raw. And guess what? 50 Cent is right in his sights. Here's where it all kicked off. Everything reignited when Netflix dropped a new docuseries centered around Sean Diddy Combs. The series claimed it would dig into the shocking allegations against Diddy. Serious misconduct claims, messy accusations, and even talk of criminal ties. But what really made the internet lose it was the bombshell that 50 Cent himself was the executive producer. 50 made it clear this documentary wasn't just entertainment.
You have a beef with, or have a beef with Ja Rule?
It's an old school. That's an old.
But I understand that. But I understand in October you did something to get back at Ja Rule.
Yeah.
Please tell the people what you did because this is.
I bought like the first 4 rows in his concert. How much are the tickets? $15. I said, okay, give me the first 4 rows.
How many seats is that? It's got to be like 200 seats.
This started for like $3,000.
So when he came out, there's nobody in the first 4 rows of his concert?
Jaws saw it as a calculated move, a personal jab dressed up as a documentary. He believed 50 was using that camera as a weapon, kicking a man who was already down and tangled in legal trouble. In Jaws' eyes, that wasn't courage. That was cruelty. 2:14-2:37, and when that realization hit, all that bottled up rage, it finally exploded. Just hours before the documentary hit Netflix, Ja Rule jumped on X and lit up the timeline with a tweet that sent shockwaves through the hip-hop world.
Every time he gets a moment, any kind of moment, he gets on a talk show. This is Stephen Colbert, which I love Stephen Colbert, that's my guy. Show receipts of the show you bought tickets to. You want to see my Instagram and look at my shows? What show? Troll. Absolutely. He was the first.
That means you're accused of working with the law, breaking the unspoken street code, and losing all respect from the culture. Ja wasn't just coming for 50's ego. He was attacking the very core of his identity, the image he'd spent decades building. He was saying that everything about 50, from his rise to fame to his street credibility, was a lie. But Ja didn't stop there. He went in even harder. He followed up with another post roasting 50's whole look, writing that he was a used car salesman, suit-wearing, field goal nose having Herman Monster head. It was classic hip-hop roast culture, savage, personal, and designed to break down that tough guy image. Ja wanted to strip away 50's larger-than-life life persona and turn it into a punchline that everyone could laugh at. First thing I did was I went straight to Ja Rule's Instagram and pressed unfollow. Behind the jokes, though, there was real venom. Ja was taking aim at 50's transformation from gritty rapper to polished businessman, hinting that no matter how many millions he stacked, he'd never escape being fake in Ja's eyes. But the biggest shot came next. Ja Rule accused 50 Cent of being a dry snitch. In street slang, that means dropping clues and sharing info publicly that could draw attention from law enforcement. No police station needed. It was a bold, dangerous claim, and Ja made sure the world heard it loud and clear. Dry snitching doesn't have to happen in a police station. It can go down in interviews, slick jokes, social media posts, or even fancy documentaries. And Ja Rule was convinced that 50's obsession with Diddy, the endless Instagram posts, the shady captions, and now this Netflix series was exactly that kind of move. He made it crystal clear when he tweeted, "Always telling on somebody, old dry snitch." That line said it all to Ja. 50 wasn't exposing corruption. He was playing government while pretending to be the people's truth teller. Ja didn't stop there. He called out what he saw as major hypocrisy. While 50 Cent went Allen on Diddy, Ja noticed that certain people close to 50 somehow stayed off limits. And that silence spoke volumes. Ja specifically mentioned Daphne Joy, the mother of 50's child, who had reportedly been named in lawsuits tied to Diddy. But in 50's documentary, not a single mention. In Ja's eyes, that was a huge red flag. He made sure everyone saw the double standard when he posted about it online, basically saying, "You can't act righteous while protecting your own circle. You know what I'm saying? I wish that black man luck, man. Go ahead and do you, man. Get your money, man. But do right. Do better because all you do is on other black people, too. That's all he does. Troll." That tweet hit hard because Jaw was exposing what he felt was the real game behind the documentary. Not truth, but control. He believed 50 wasn't chasing justice. He was shaping the narrative, picking who gets dragged and who gets spared. This wasn't just another round in their old feud. For yeah, it was about something much deeper. This was about loyalty, principle, and respect in a culture built on realness. After years of biting his tongue, Jaw finally let loose, saying what he believed had been obvious from the start. He wasn't talking charts or clout this time. He was talking about integrity, about crossing a line that should have never been touched. In Jaw's mind, this wasn't just beef. It was betrayal dressed up as truth. When Irv Gotti passed away, it shattered Ja Rule in a way fans had never seen before. Irv wasn't just some music exec. He was Jaw's brother in spirit, his ride or die, the man who believed in him from day one. Together, they built Murder Incorporated straight from the ground up and flipped the whole hip-hop scene on its head in the early 2000s. Their sound ruled the clubs, dominated radio, and owned the charts. They were unstoppable. But their rise wasn't easy. They battled through federal investigations, industry blacklisting, and the brutal takeover of 50 Cent, the man who turned their success into a full-blown war. Still, Ja and Irv stood tall, side by side through every storm. That's why when Irv Gotti passed on February 5, 2025 at just 54 years old, it hit Ja like a wrecking ball. Irv had been fighting health problems for years, diabetes, and a stroke in 2024 that left him walking with a cane. But no one thought the end would come so soon. For Ja, it wasn't just the loss of a friend. It was like losing his right hand, his foundation. The hip-hop world showed love and respect, sending condolences and tributes to a man who helped shape an entire era. But while most paid their respects, 50 Cent went in the opposite direction, and his timing was ice cold. Even before 4's passing was confirmed, when news broke that he was on life support, 50 jumped on Instagram and wrote, "Damn, I wanted him to see my new shows." That post stunned everyone. It was harsh, unnecessary, and it showed no mercy. But that wasn't the end. It was just the setup for something even colder. The very next day, after Irv Gotti's death was officially confirmed, 50 Cent posted a photo of himself chilling in a gray Gannett sweatsuit, smoking a hookah beside a fake tombstone that read, "R.I.P." The caption, it sent the internet into chaos. "I'm smoking on that Gotti pack now." It was cruel, shocking, and for Ja Rule it was unforgivable. God bless him, that's what 50 Cent wrote, and the internet couldn't believe it. In today's hip-hop world, especially with drill culture influencing the slang, saying you're smoking on someone doesn't mean anything innocent. It means you're celebrating their death. It's turning someone's passing into a joke, a victory, a twisted form of bragging. So when 50 used that phrase, he wasn't just disrespecting Irv Gotti. He was mocking the death of a man who meant everything to Ja Rule. That post went beyond beef. It crossed the line in brushed-off memes, jokes, and slick comments from 50. But this one hit different. This wasn't about old rap battles or clout chasing. This was about a dead brother. And Ja's fury was unmatched. When he showed up to the Breakfast Club on April 14, 2025, the energy in the room shifted instantly. There were no laughs, no dodging the topic, just raw emotion. As soon as 50's post came up, Ja's tone changed completely. You could hear the pain in his voice, the anger behind every word. He described his reaction straight up, saying he was ready to go nuclear. And knowing their violent past, that statement wasn't just talk. It showed how close he was to losing all control. But what really stood out was Ja's honesty about how deep that rage went. He admitted that he needed people around him to pull him back from the edge. Real ones like DJ Premier stepped in, reminding him of who he was, what he stood for, and what he could lose if he let that anger take over. For Ja, holding back wasn't weakness. It was power. He made a conscious choice to stay disciplined, to channel that pain instead of letting it consume him. Because deep down, he knew one wrong move. And this story could have ended in tragedy instead of testimony. That moment on The Breakfast Club revealed a side of Ja Rule the world rarely got to see. The side of a man who'd survived years of mockery, sneak disses, and flat-out disrespect, yet still held his ground with control and purpose. He made it clear that what some might call holding back wasn't fear. It was growth. It wasn't weakness. It was discipline. Ja explained that he refused to let 50 Cent bait him into throwing away everything he'd built over an Instagram post, no matter how cruel or personal it got. But just when it seemed like Ja had taken the higher road, 50 came swinging again. Not long after Ja's interview aired, 50 jumped on Instagram and fired back hard, this time accusing The Breakfast Club of promoting violence. The irony was wild considering he had sparked the disrespect in the first place. And then, as usual, he couldn't resist mocking Ja directly. He posted, "The Breakfast Club should be ashamed of themselves for asking questions that perpetuate this. This fool been getting ready to go what he calls nuclear for 22 years. Lol. Ya man in my runs right now." That last part hit especially low. Runs is a popular weed strain. And by saying, "Ya man and my runs," 50 was doubling down on his original insult, once again implying he was smoking on Irv Gotti. It was beyond petty. It was twisted. At that point, it wasn't about rap beef or trolling anymore. It was cruelty dressed up as comedy. 50 turned Ja's pain, his grief, and even his friend's death into a running punchline for social media entertainment. That's why months later, when new controversies around 50 started popping up again, Ja Rule couldn't stay silent. He had to speak up, not for clout but for closure. Because for Ja, this was never just about music or a rivalry that overstayed its welcome. It was about something much deeper. It was about pain that never healed, about wounds that fame couldn't cover. When Irv GTI died, it reminded everyone that some beefs in hip-hop don't fade with time. They just get buried under layers of hurt, waiting to resurface again. While the chaos around the Diddy documentary and Irv G. Gotti's death kept headlines blazing, Ja Rule's sit-down on Carmelo Anani's 700p.m. In Brooklyn podcast in November 2025 gave fans something deeper, a raw look into his mind and his legacy. This wasn't the angry job people had seen before. This was a man speaking with calm confidence and crystal clarity, ready to reclaim his place in hip-hop history. Ja Rule laid it out plain and unapologetic. He believes he was always the better artist. He said his music aged like fine wine, still hitting people right in the chest years later. Those records weren't just songs, they were moments. Tracks like Always on Time, Mesmerized. They became soundtracks to real lives, real love, real pain. While others leaned heavy into street drama, Ja says he brought emotion, melody, and vulnerability to hip-hop when most artists were scared to even try it. Then Ja dropped a take that really shook the room. He straight up said 50 Cent's style was basically a remix of what he had already done. The irony, Ja pointed out how 50 used to clown him for singing, then turned around and sang on his own biggest hits like 21 Questions and Candy Shop. According to Ja, he pioneered that melodic hook-driven sound that mixed street grit with radio appeal. And 50 followed the blueprint while selling himself as the tougher, more street-savvy guy. But Ja wasn't just talking bars and hits. He zoomed out and talked damage. He described their feud as a full-blown civil war that tore New York hip-hop apart. Artists, DJs, radio stations, and even label execs were forced to pick sides. Heavyweights like Fat Joe, Jadakiss, and even Nas got pulled into the mess. And in Ja's eyes, that division weakened New York at the worst possible time, opening the door for Atlanta and the South to rise up and take over the game. Ja even compared it to the Drake versus Kendrick clash of 2024 to 2025, saying, "Battles fade, but longevity tells the real story. Touring power, influence, and staying relevant matter more than any single win." For Ja Rule, hip-hop was never just competition. It was legacy. And now, after years of being counted out, he's finally claiming his place again. If this story had you thinking, debating, or choosing sides, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below. Who really won this legacy war? Ja Rule or 50 Cent?